Les doy la bienvenida a este primer episodio de Input Radio. Mi nombre es Hermes Granados. Esta es la primera vez que estamos básicamente abriendo este programa, estamos inaugurándolo. Esta es la primera vez que hablo. No es cierto, no. Pero bienvenidos sean a este espacio donde vamos a hablar de música. Y conmigo también está Ana, que me va a acompañar en esta mesa en donde vamos a entrevistar a unos personajes bastante interesantes y muy honorables que estamos por recibirlos. Pero Ana, ¿cómo estás tú? Dime cómo estás.
Hola, muchas gracias. Pues estoy muy bien. Esta realmente sí es mi primera vez hablando, pero frente a la cámara. Pero muy emocionada. La verdad es que qué honor abrir con personajes tan chidos en la industria del shoegaze y del noise, de toda la música chida, sobre todo de New York. Pero bueno, muchísimas gracias, Hermes.
Bueno, entonces, y déjenme presentarles a los honorables invitados que tenemos. Here we have Oliver, John, and Sandra coming in here from Place to Bury Strangers, which is a band. We're pretty actually honored to have this band here because it represents so much sound-wise here at locally, because it is basically the style we're or part of the style we're forging here. We're very honored and thank you very much for being here. How this is the second time you're here. How was your arrival to this town? Do you remember the first time you came here?
Yeah, the first time we were here was great. I remember walking around the city. We had such a good time. The show was incredible. The people, the food, everything was amazing. This time coming here, it's always a gamble. You know, we're like stuck in customs, talking to people, trying to convince them that we're decent people, you know, and somehow they let us through. So, yeah, I think I messed up where I said we weren't family, but we are
Oliver,
family. I know,
what
yeah.
The heck?
I know, what was I thinking?
Could have paid less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he did not want to be associated with you.
Hey, what can I say? You know,
Took a mental note. No, but it's really great to be back.
Yeah, it's so amazing. We're so psyched for this show.
Yes, and it was great to drive into the city and you'll be like, oh, we
Remember,
walked here the last time, and it's really, really great. And you've been also nice to us and make it so awesome to come back, and we feel really honored to be part of the very first episode that you're doing here right
Thank
now.
you very much.
Thank you so much for choosing us.
Thank you.
No, it's an honor actually.
Muchas
It's a matter of planning. Like we seen this and we saw the opportunity and we were making this concept. So we got let's bring this band here because there's a lot to talk about. And well, saying that this is your second show and we also remember the first time you came here. As I was telling you right before we start recording, the last time you were here, Sandra came up to the crowd with Floor Tom and started playing there with the crowd, which is something that for fans, us, the people that watch these kinds of shows is what we're looking at, because we're matching. Usually here in Mexico, or at least here in Querétaro, we have this match up of energies. We have a very powerful band, and the crowd matches up that energy. Sometimes it gets overpowered. But this time, that was all the way around. You came here to the crowd, you were part of it, and you were part not only of the sound that you were with the music that you make, but also of that part of being on the stage. How was that experience, that first time that you were there, going all crazy with this?
I think for me personally, that's the beauty of it. And that's why we do this and go into the crowd, to feel that vibe. And for me, we are all in this together. So it's not only us on stage, but the crowd is so important. It's like that energy flows back and forth. And I remember it was very powerful when we played here the last time. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
And yeah, it was the people that make us go out to this. You look out and you see people freaking excited and going crazy. I always tell people at shows, if you want the band to play really well, have a really good time yourself at the show. You know, go crazy, you know, dance around, jump around. That makes us want to go into the crowd. That makes us want to play better and makes everybody in every show play better. So even bring a flashlight to a show and swing it around, you know, I don't know, go with your friends, jump on someone's back, have a good time. You know, I think all of us do this because, you know, we want to have fun, you know, and we want that party vibe and that feeling of going out into, you know, having a wild night out. And so
Yeah,
That's
and
the
just
soundtrack.
and just being aware of it, that everybody is needed in that moment, no matter if it's the people who set up the show, the people who work at the show, like from the people at the door to someone who sells drinks, to the crowd, to all of us, to the sound engineer. Everybody is there in this moment to make this particular show extraordinary and awesome. And I think we're all like we're very grateful for being able to do this and like see smiling faces in the crowd, right?
Yeah, and I want to ask, what has been your experience with the fan base here in Mexico? Like, are we crazy? Are we not that crazy?
Your fan base specifically,
Yeah.
like here in Mexico, because you have a very strong fan base. That's how's it been?
I think like whenever you are not from an area, then people are extra excited, and so in Mexico it's one of these places people are super excited when we come down there. Maybe they can read it off of our faces. We are so excited to be down here. We love Mexico, and so it's every single time we've been down here, it's amazing. I've been here other times before they were in the band, and those were amazing shows. We played once where we opened up for the Deftones in Mexico City. And it was like, I remember it started where like someone told us some story, some like horror story of like, some band getting like shot on stage or something like that. And so we were all freaked out when we get on stage, and then we get out there and people were like pelting us with money and stuff like that.
With money.
and then so we just, brought it. We were like, this isn't going to bring us down. We're going to take this, and remember like jumping out into the crowd, getting all crazy and all this stuff. And then eventually everyone's all like cheering and, it was all awesome and stuff. So it's like, it's always been an experience where, I think that the people in Mexico like really they like to have a great time, and we do too. So,
we love to be part of the show also, so that's
awesome.
why that's why we're jumping on somebody else's back.
That's the
and
best.
jumping
That's the
around.
best.
I suppose that you saw somebody crowd surfing at some point, right?
Of course,
we
yeah,
have
totally.
that.
That's what we want. I love it. That makes me feel so good when I see someone lifted up in the air, or when someone jumps up on stage or something. It's like that's what I always want out of every show.
And that comes with the energy that you both, I'm sorry, you three go as band together, because it's not only about like the harmonic use of the noise or the distortions or the pedals, but it's also something that gets like tightened up within the three members of the band. Which is definitely something that you have felt also from the crowd as well. So in this point, so now that it's your second time, it's a different venue. So what are you expecting from here? Were you expecting the same energy, perhaps even more? Are you excited for something specific? Do you remember something from the last time that you said, I want that also be part of this specific show?
John, tell us more since you're giggling.
No, I mean like every show is like different, and we always try to like Ali always likes to say, bring it to the next level, and so it's like when we're on stage, it's kind of like an out of body experience, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. The plan is bring it to the next level.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, this trip has been like, seemed like off in the distance sort of for so long, and we've been sort of so excited about this and talking about it and all this that we're thrilled that it's about to start. So tomorrow's show is going to be wild. I'm super excited to be here, and hopefully we'll have. Our equipment will work for the rest of the tour.
Yeah.
Hopefully you had those guitar repairs, because I know that you're a crafty guy. So and I understand that you have like any time that you have broken a guitar, you have repaired it.
Yeah, I brought glue. I brought clamps.
You have everything.
I brought like straps and a couple extra necks, a couple of key pieces.
Oliver is
We'll
the
see.
best customer of wood glue companies, for sure.
You have like a year worth of glue, so that you
Yeah,
can
if
have that
anyone
in-
knows anyone at Elmer's or
Yes.
Gorilla Glue or something,
For
please
sponsoring.
let us know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to ask, is there a guitar you haven't been able to fix after a show, or?
No. But
Well, what about that time when someone ran off with half?
Yes,
the part?
people
Oh.
take
Oh,
take the
that
pieces.
was- that was-
They like to.
Yeah.
They think it's like a souvenir, and then Ollie has a half of guitar. You know, like
Oh, that's what you have half of the guitar.
Yeah,
They took the
yeah.
piece.
They took the piece,
Oh,
yeah.
God. I definitely thought that's some custom piece that
Oh, yeah.
definitely well made, but
Yeah, that was a
man.
vibe.
Someone took it. So if you're out there watching this right now, my address is 1871 Green
Please take it
Avenue.
back.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool because really that matching of energy, that energy that is portrayed, because you get that energy from the crowd as well, and at the same point you also get that also to the crowd. So it's like something like a reciprocating, right? So it's energy coming out and in. And I don't know if you have been aware, because you have had quite a career with this band. It has had many moments of this band. But have you seen any influence of your music on like a band, perhaps even a local band, like where you're from specifically, or perhaps even on the places that you have visited, like Latin America, not only here in Mexico, but also other Latin American places?
Yeah, totally. I see that stuff all the time, and people kind of doing these same things. And I'm so thankful because we're doing things where it's like I almost wonder, like, is this stupid for us to be doing? Where you're like jumping out into the crowd or you're throwing your guitar or something. But I know tons of bands that have been doing this stuff because we've done it, and seen me. Maybe it's dangerous to influence people to do some of these things, but I think it's also good for music to be a little bit dangerous. I think that's kind of the times when it's the most thrilling and exciting. Like we used to have this venue in New York, and it was illegal, and I think that made it like extra exciting because
Oh, right.
there's always the chance that like the cops could show up.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like every night there's that thrill. Or like I love playing those shows too, where it's like outside with a generator or something somewhere, where you're like, it's really, this is not an official venue. You don't know what's going to happen on this bridge or in this park or whatever or something. So it's kind of that I think adds a level of excitement, and I think that is really connected to art. I think art should be a little bit dangerous and kind of edgy, and that's what's sort of exciting about that.
And you actually portray that art, and not only because not only the musical part, because I will have heard a lot about the effect pedals, like the company you have for creating these pedals. It's like a crafty thing, because it's not only about what you can create with something that is that you can actually create yourself with your hands, but it's also a matter of hearing it, like matching that noise. So what has been your journey looking for this sound? Because I've heard some other bands that you have, like Skywave, or that you have also with John actually, and the other band. What was the other ceremony?
Ceremony.
Yeah, that's the two of them.
Which actually it's kind of funny, because you now you have like the whole package, like the sound that you had before, which is where you were coming from, and then you have it and put it together on this new project, and it's like it sounds like it has been through a journey. That's why how's that journey been like for you as a band?
Yeah, John and I grew up together, and like we grew up in Virginia, in this small town, and it just kind of had this feeling like we were never going to get out of there. It was sort of like you just sort of felt like you were in this bubble. And we would try to book tours, and they'd be miserable, where the people didn't want us there.
And
Our
our hometown didn't want us to play music
there.
Yeah.
And we would so we kind of like just invented this imaginary sort of scene and idea. We would paste posters up, and I remember we were doing these posters one time in this town, Richmond, and like as we were walking around, there was this guy following us, ripping down the posters right as we were putting them up. And so it was so funny because we spent the day there to only have nothing happen. But so it was kind of like we sort of invented this kind of music in this style where we're just sort of like, whatever, we don't belong, we don't fit. And then I remember when I moved to New York, I was like, you know what? I've been beating my head against a wall forever. I'm going to try to like do it properly. you know, when we were trying to like mingle with like record executives and all this kind of bullshit. And then this guy wanted to put out these demos that we made for this band, and I was real reluctant because I wanted to like go into a real studio and do it for real. And these demos were the same kind of thing as Skywave or the shit we'd always done, you know. So so the guy put out the album, and it became like you know, people loved it all over the place. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna abandon this idea of trying to like appease people or try to like, you know, influence my music based on what journalists or anything say. And I think John's always been the same way too. It's like we've been kind of outcasts, and you just do music for the sake of the music that we love, and making this stuff, and it's a little bit weird and kind of fucked up and whatever, but it's like it's a representation of us, you know. It's not like,
and also like I don't feel like I'm a really good musician, so it's like that people would like my music that I write or that he writes and stuff like that is crazy.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, I basically plateaued at like 18, 19 years old and a guitar, you know, so just like, so I mean, like, I guess I love playing music. It's like, I like feeling like that excitement and like maybe like a kind of a kid sometimes, you know, like how when I first picked up a guitar and I turned up the amp as loud as it went, and I was just like, oh, the hairs on my arms were standing up, and like it's like that. I still like that today, you know. So
I mean, that's why we do it, and we kind of joke even at practice. Sandra will be like, when we do practice, she's like, "Holy shit, that is so fucking loud," you know. And it's just like, you know, just like even at those moments, you know, we just do it for the pure joy of playing the music of ourselves and trying to create this stuff. So same thing with these effects and everything. It's like we're just trying to push music further and, you know, explore some weird world of, you know, what are these sounds and what are these things that are important to me and are exciting to me, and, you know, anything where it's like, oh, is this product gonna sell better or the other thing or something, like, you just gotta ignore that noise, you know. That shit's just bullshit, not gonna make the world a better place or anything anyway. So you know, as much as possible, I think you just want to like you know, create things that you and your friends like.
That's perfect, because we actually come from a philosophy being here, because this is a rehearsal studio.
Yep.
So this place here is open. This is the business that bands come here and play, and they rehearse.
So cool.
And that's why that's like the basic of a band. Like go ahead and gather together and rehearse and practice, and not only in your instrument alone in your house, but also the band together. Every band dynamic is different, I suppose. And in this case, sometimes rehearsals became jams, and then they become songs.
Yeah.
So have you had that experience? What is the relationship you have with that space, like that sacred rehearsal space for you?
yeah, totally. That's what we do sometimes. Yeah.
So
Like, sometimes the song is fully written when we step in, and then sometimes we're like, hey, let's just play some music, and then it's like one of our best songs, you know, that we just like wrote in an hour, you know, like so, yeah.
Yeah, most of the best songs that have been for Place to Bury Strangers were written in an hour or less, and
Wow.
And so those are the really good ones where, you know, I always say this kind of thing where it's almost like, you know, and that's why we even improvise during our sets and stuff. Is there something like even more powerful than like what you could ever imagine? You know, it's almost even being like touched by the hand of God or some bullshit or something. You know what I
If
mean?
you believe in God.
But where it's like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's some sort of extra force. You know, and that's the coolest when you're playing with other people and you create that together, because it's like, I don't know, it's sort of like the best things of everyone in the room all then kind of creating this thing, which is more powerful than like one person's idea. Kind of then, like, you know, we do that. There's plenty of songs which like one of us wrote, and so then it's like, you know, everybody learned these parts and you try to, you know, make it go as good as you possibly can. But there's something really special about you know, almost like just creating that thing from each of the people. I don't know. They bring like their best self to it. And this band has even changed with a lot of different members in this band as the years have gone on.
Yeah.
And I've always tried to push that because I just, I feel like that's the coolest thing. I love people. I love where they come from, what their ideas are in music and all of this stuff. And I love these two musicians. They're freaking amazing musicians. So it's like such an honor and so cool to play with them. These people have such awesome, cool ideas. Like their band, Ceremony East Coast, is wicked. So it's like, it's cool to be like, I don't know, in that same kind of connection. It's cool to reconnect with John over all these years, and everything. So
yeah, because
awesome.
It's also cool to reconnect with the band, even though because this happens a lot with artists. Like they have like, oh no, I had a band this time, but it's not like that. But you don't know how much it can actually connect with a person, and that is the really cool thing. Because I mean, I've listened a lot of the music, and for me it's like a theatrical composure of emotions. But because we got like we all understand like the part of these bands that like the drum set is the beating heart, and then there's like a piece, but sometimes you change it up a little bit, and sometimes it's just pure swimming in the noise. Now, and for example, on the last album that you're making, you put up a synthesizer. What is it like the circuit board of it?
Yeah.
So you can just print this circuit board and make the synthesizer on your house. That's
the album cover is a circuit board, and so you just have to find all the parts. They're real pretty common parts. I mean, you have to be slightly proficient in building things, soldering and stuff, but it's not for beginners. But and then you can build this actual synthesizer, and that synthesizer
It's wicked. It's a cool one.
We built that synthesizer and we recorded the whole album with that synthesizer. So that record cover is on every track on the album.
Then that's pretty cool to hear, because we also have there's a couple of people here. The band that I was just showing you a band earlier today, and this band also is creating their pedals.
Cool.
They're also having that's pretty cool to hear, because I mean I see your band. You're coming here, you're giving a show, and it's amazing. It's pretty cool. And then you see these bands that talks about you, and it's like, oh, you're also making pedals. Holy shit! I mean, for me, it's like hold on. They also made a synthesizer, but it was like on the it was like the head of a doll. It was like one of those dolls, and they have like knobs on the head.
Oh,
That's a cool idea.
It's amazing.
That's pretty cool. So thank you very much for coming here. I appreciate you being in this place. It has been very amazing. Is there anything that you're expecting? Not only from the crowd, but also like from the city. Does this city sound anything? Have you heard the city? And by that I mean like any band, anything like moving around there. Perhaps the opening bands that you're gonna have on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm really excited to hear
Sex
them.
and Trace them out. It's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be wicked. And that band you showed me earlier was amazing. That was sick.
Yes.
So that's cool. Yeah. So, but yeah, even just walking around, hearing fireworks and seeing people having a good time, we're psyched. So cool.
Well, we're very, very used to very strident sounds, very explosives. We're used to many things, so we're gonna go there and enjoy the shit out of that show.
Fuck yeah. Let's get wild.
We're gonna get wild, and thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you.
These are a place to bury strangers. Now they have Godfather, our first episode, which is a fucking honor right now, and I'm feeling pretty emotional right now. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Muchas gracias, Ana. Vamos a despedir este programa.
Thank you so much.
Gracias a
So cool.
Y pues muchas gracias por escuchar este primer episodio de Input Radio. Les agradecemos bastante, gracias a Place to Bury Strangers por apadrinar este primer episodio, y así sigan tocando bastante ruidoso y rómpanla siempre. Nos vemos.